Today we're going to look at multiplication and multiplying larger numbers. A product is the result of multiplication. So if you're asked to find the product of two numbers, it means you need to multiply those two numbers together. For single digit multiplication, so that's multiplying by one digit, we need to arrange the numbers vertically, then multiply the single digit by each digit in the other number. We start with the ones in that other number. Any digits with high place value need to be added to the multiplication in the next column, because it's as if we've multiplied up with that one and all of the leftover values in the higher place need to be then added on to that higher place at the end. So for example here we have 23 times 4. So we know 3 times 4 is 12. So we put the 2 down in the ones value. We've got that extra tens place value. So we will add that on and put a 1 up there to remind us that we need to add that 1 on. So we do the multiplication first. 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus that additional 1 is 9. So that is going to be 92. 23 times 4 is 92. When we're looking at multiplying larger numbers, there's a an algorithm that we can use, or we can look at the properties of the multiplication and see if there's a simpler way, a way that we can do it a bit easier. So when we're multiplying by a multiple of 10, that's something we can look for. Multiple of 10 always will end in a 0, at least one 0. There might be multiple zeros and it'll still be a multiple of 10. Then we can rearrange the number and make it really easy to work with. The reason that we look for multiples of 10 is because we're in the base 10 number system, and it's very easy to look at. If we've got multiples of 10, that's the same as saying it's in that place value. So 300 is the same as 3 times 100. So let's have a look at how that can make it a bit easier for us. If we've got this multiplication here, these are two quite large numbers, 21 times 3,000. So 3,000 is the same as 3 times 1,000. So what we can do is we can split that 3,000 up to 3 times 1,000, and then we can use the associative law, which means that we can multiply in any order we'd like. Okay, we can rearrange and multiply. If we've just got all multiplication, we can multiply and rearrange and reorder them any way we like, and then multiply them in any order we would like. So let's multiply 21 times 3 first. That's very easy because 1 times 3 is 3 and 2 times 3 is 6. So 21 times 3 is 63. Then we've got the 63 times 1,000. So that's just 63,000. 63 in the thousands column. So we end up with 63,000. Very easy. Sometimes when we're multiplying large numbers, it's not easy to see a trick like that, or to see and work with the properties of those numbers to make it easier for us to solve and think about. So sometimes it's helpful for us to use an algorithm to multiply large numbers. So in order to do that, what we first have to do is arrange the numbers vertically. Then we firstly multiply that first number. Secondly, we multiply the first number by the ones value in the second number. Okay, so we multiply that whole first number by the ones value. Then we separately multiply the first number by the tens value in the second number. And then we add those two totals up, the totals from steps 2 and 3. We add them together and that will be our value. And the reason this works is because of the distributive law. So we can actually rearrange the multiplication into its place value components for our first number, and it will make it easier for us. So here we have multiplying 143 times 24. So in order to do that, we need to look at multiplying our first number by the ones value, and then multiplying the first number by the tens value. Okay. So firstly, we need to multiply 143 by 4. That's our first number we need to work out. So 3 times 4 is 12. So put the 2 down and add that 1 into the next place value. 4 times 4 is 16, and we add that 1, so it's 17. So 7. We carry that 1 into the next place value. 1 times 4 is 4, plus our 1 is 5. Okay, so 143 times 4 is 572. So now what we need to do is we need to multiply by the tens value. And because it's multiplying by the tens value, okay, we need to make sure that we're going to get our answer in tens. We're starting in the tens column, okay, because we're not multiplying by 2, we're multiplying by 20. Okay, we're multiplying by 20. So we need to make sure that what we're actually getting for our answer here is the value starting in the tens column, because we've already filled up. We're doing 10 times that 2 value, because that's the place value of it. 2 times 10, 20. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. And 2 times 1 is 2. So these are our 2 values. Okay. Now our last step is to add these 2 numbers together. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 7 plus 6 is 13. Adding that 1 into the next column. 5 plus 8 is 13. Plus 1 is 14. And 1 plus 2 is 3. So 143 times 24 is 3,432. Now, the reason this works is because of the distributive law. So it's the same as saying 143 times 24 is the same as 143 times 4, which is what we did first, plus 143 times 20, which is what we did in the second instance. So that's the distributive law allowing us to distribute those, the place values for here over that first number that we've used. So we've got a few examples here evaluating some multiplication. First one's a single digit multiplication, so we can do that relatively easily. So here we've got 7 times 7 is 49, so put the 9 down here and carry the 4 into the next place value, okay? And we're going to add that on at the after we've multiplied the next place value. So 9 times 7 is 63. 63 plus 4 is 67. So put the 7 down here in the tens column and carried the 6 over into the hundreds to add on at the end. 1 times 7 is 7, plus the 6 is 13. So 197 times 7 is 1,379. For our next value here, we've got here, it's 2 larger numbers, but this is a multiple of 10, so it would make it easy for us to split that up into its components. So 45 times 7 is the same as 45 times 7 times 10. If we can do the 45 times 7 very quickly, then we can just multiply it by 10 at the end. So 45 times 7, done very quickly here. 5 times 7 is 35. Place the 5 down here and carry the 3 in that tens into the tens column to add on. 4 times 7 is 28. 28 plus the 3 is 31. So that leaves us with 45 times 7 is 315. So because we know that 45 times 7 is 315, we know that 45 times 7 is 315 times 10. Because it's times 10, that means it's 315 in the tens place. So 315 in the tens place with a 0 on the end, 3,150. Now we're looking at 380 times 49. Firstly, we need to multiply our first number by the ones value. So let's do that here and put that down here. 380 times 9. 0 times 9 is 0. 8 times 9 is 72. So I've carried the 7 up here, and placed the 2 down here. So 3 times 9 then is 27. 27 plus 7 is 34. So I'm left with 3,420, which is the 380 times 9. Now we're multiplying by 40. So because we're multiplying by 40, I've already put the 0 down here, and now I'm going to start multiplying by the 4. Okay, because what we're doing, remember, we need to make sure we're multiplying by 40. We put our 0 down here to say we're starting in the tens column because we are multiplying by a tens value, tens place value. So 0 times 4 is 0. 8 times 4 is 32. So we need to not worry about this 7 anymore because that was for this first one. Okay, so we're just looking at 32 now. We put the 2 down here and carrying the 3 into the hundreds column. Okay, 3 into the thousands column. So then we have 3 times 4, which is 12, plus the 3, which is 15. So now we need to add these together. It's important that we've lined them up correctly. 0 plus 0 is 0, 2 plus 0 is 2, 4 plus 2 is 6, and 3 plus 5 is 8, and then we've got 0 plus 1 is 1. So our answer, 380 times 49, is 18,620.